What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 12 Millionaire Maker. These picks apply for DraftKings and Fanduel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in Fanduel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you'll have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core. Okay guys, NFL Week 12. Let's take a look at the main slate on Sunday. So at the quarterback position, my Millionaire Maker quarterback is going to be Justin Herbert from the LA Chargers playing the Buffalo Bills, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Justin Herbert has averaged 26.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.3 rush attempts per game. He scored 31, 22, and 26 fantasy points in the last 3 games, and he's projected at 20.9 fantasy points here in Week 12. He's $7,200 DraftKings salary and $1,200 more on Fanduel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 53 points scored in this game, and they have the Chargers trailing by 5.5. So this is a great matchup, a high-scoring game, and a passing game script. So I like Justin Herbert here versus the Buffalo Bills. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My Millionaire Maker running back is Todd Gurley from the Atlanta Falcons playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Todd Gurley has averaged 14.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 16.7 rush attempts per game and 2.4 pass targets per game. He's projected at 14 fantasy points here in Week 12, and he's only $5,500 DraftKings salary and $1,400 more on Fanduel. So I'm going to save some salary with this pick. It's a great matchup, a super high scoring game here. Vegas thinks there's going to be 55.5 points scored in this game, and they have the Falcons trailing by 3. So a close, competitive game. Todd Gurley gets all the goal line carries. I think they're going to be able to move the ball down the field on the Las Vegas Raiders. So I like Todd Gurley here versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My Millionaire Maker wide receiver is Robbie Anderson from the Carolina Panthers playing the Minnesota Vikings, who have the 7th worst defense overall, and they give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Robbie Anderson has averaged 15.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.6 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 77% of the snaps, and he scored 12, 6, and 15 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 9, 6, and 13 pass targets. He's projected at 14.5 fantasy points here in Week 12, and he's $6,100 DraftKings salary and $300 more on Fanduel. So I like that price on both sites.
And Vegas thinks there's going to be 48.5 points scored in this game, with the Carolina Panthers trailing by 4. So fantastic matchup and a passing game script. So I like Robbie Anderson here versus the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. I'm going to stack this player with Justin Herbert. So my Millionaire Maker tight end is Hunter Henry from the LA Chargers, playing the Buffalo Bills, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Hunter Henry has averaged 10.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.6 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 89% of the snaps. He scored 15 and 13 fantasy points in the last 2 games. He's projected at 10.3 fantasy points here in week 12, and he's $4,800 DraftKings salary and $1,100 more on Fanduel. We know Vegas thinks there's going to be 53 points scored in this game. They have the Chargers trailing by 5.5, so great matchup at the tight end position and a passing game script. So I like Hunter Henry here versus the Buffalo Bills.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to DraftDashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. You've unlocked the bonus content.
Okay guys, here we are in the DraftKings lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Justin Herbert, Todd Gurley, Alvin Kamara, Robbie Anderson, AJ Green, Tyreek Hill, Hunter Henry, Brashad Perryman, and the Panthers defense. We're using all 50,000 of the 50,000 salary. I think this is a pretty good lineup. Now we got some low ownership plays here in Brashad Perryman, and AJ Green will probably be low owned, but AJ Green scored 14 fantasy points last week, and Brashad Perryman scored 13 and 30 fantasy points in the last 2 weeks. So those are some nice value plays that got pretty big upside, and the rest of this lineup is looking great. So I like this lineup. I'm going to save it so I can optimize it later. Okay, now here we are in the Fanduel lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Justin Herbert, Damian Harris, Todd Gurley, Chris Godwin, Robbie Anderson, Michael Pittman Jr., Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen, and the Dolphins defense. So we got the double stack here with Hunter Henry and Keenan Allen paired up with Justin Herbert. And then we got some low ownership plays here with Michael Pittman, but he scored 14 and almost 16 fantasy points in the last 2 games. So he's been stepping up. The rest of this lineup is solid. So I like this lineup. I'm going to save it so I can optimize it later.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.